Good morning, children. This is Karan sir, and you are watching Facts Being Taught. Today, we are going to continue the chapter of class 9, the Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution. So, in this chapter, we will discuss about the support for socialism in Russia. What kind of support the socialists were getting in Russia in those days? By the 1870s, socialist ideas spread through the Europe. To coordinate their efforts, socialists formed an international body, namely the Second International. So the socialists made a unity or a organization which was named the Second International, and it was a group of the socialists where they discussed the socialist ideas and they propagate it. Workers in England and Germany began forming associations to fight for better living and working conditions. After seeing what happened in Russia, the workers in England and Germany also started to revolt against their good facilities should be provided to them, good working conditions should be provided to them. These were their demands. They set up funds to help the members in times of the distress and demanded the reduction of the working hours and the right to vote. In Germany, this association worked closely with the Social Democratic Party and held it win parliamentary seats. By 1905, socialists and the trade unions formed the Labour Party in Britain and Socialist Party in France. What happened? Actually, they started collecting funds to help their colleagues, to members, to the workers, to their party karyakartas. They would help them in the time of requirement. When they needed money, they would go to that body. So what happened? In Germany, these associations worked closely to the Party Democratic. It means they were in the support of the Social Democratic Party, okay, in Germany, and they won some of the parliament seat in 1905. Socialists and the trade unions formed by Labour Party in Britain. So Britain had this Labour Party, and in France the Socialist Party. However, till 1914, socialists never succeeded in forming a government in Europe. It means till 1940 there was no socialist government in Europe, including all these. So what happened? Represented by strong figures in the parliamentary politics, their ideas did shape legislation, but governments continued to be run by the conservatives, liberals and radicals. So these people were controlling and actually working. Now we will move towards the story of Tsar Nicholas. In one of the least industrialized of European states, this situation was reversed. It means there was a state in the European group where it was the least organized, least industrialized. It means it has very little development of industries. In 1914, Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia and its empire beside the territory around Moscow. The Russian Empire included current-day Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, parts of Poland, Ukraine and Belarus. It means that Russia in those days included all the areas which I named earlier. It stretched to the Pacific and comprised today's Central Asian states, as well as the Georgia, Armenia and Azerbaijan. These were the countries they covered. These were the areas which were ruled by the same Tsar Nicholas II. So the majority religion was Russian Orthodox Christianity. It means the most of the people of Russia, they followed the Christianity, which had grown out of the Greek Orthodox Church, but the empire also included Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, and Buddhists. These were also some of the other religious people, those who used to exist in Russia in those days. Now, economy and society. What was the condition of the economy in those days? At the beginning of the 20th century, the vast majority of the Russia people were agriculturists. When the 20th century started, the majority of the people of Russia were agriculturists, it means they were farmers. About 85% of the Russian Empire's population earned their living from the agriculture. 85% of their total population were engaged in the agricultural activities. It means at the time of freedom, India was also a country of the farmers, and it was constituting almost 70% of the total population was engaged in these agricultural activities. Similarly, they were 85%. This proportion was higher than the most European countries. For instance, in France and Germany, proportion was 40% and 50%. It means if we talk about the other European states in those days, only Russia was the highest agriculturally active countries, and other countries like Germany and England France and Germany had 40 and 50% of the total population were engaged in the agricultural activities. In the empire, cultivators produced for the market as well as their own needs, and Russia was major exporter of grain. Russia used to export grains to all over the world. Industry was found in the pockets. Industries were here and there somewhere. Prominent industrial areas were St. Petersburg and Moscow. These were the most industrial areas. It means there were a lot of industries settled up there in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Craftsmen undertook much of the production, but large factories existed alongside the craft workshops. Many factories were set up in the 1890s. The Russia railway network was extended and foreign investment and industry increased. What happened in Russia? The railway network was spread, coal production doubled, and the iron steel output quadrupled. It means the production of the coal gone twice, 2 times more, and this one like iron and steel output, this going to 4 times more level. By the 90s, in some areas, factory workers and the craftsmen were almost equal in number. It means somewhere in the 90s, the craftsmen, and it means the people those who worked in industries and those who worked in the self-employed or craftsmen or agriculturists, they were equal in number. Most industries were private property of industrialists, and government supervised large factories to ensure minimum wages and limited hours of work, but factory inspectors and could not prevent rulers being broken. In craft unit, small workshops, working day was 15 hours compared to the 10 to 12 hours in factories. Accommodation varied from rooms to dormitories. So they were provided with the dormitories. Dormitory is a kind of hall where 15, 20, 50 people will sleep together. That is known as dormitory. And rooms where 2 or 3 people will sleep together. So those were the rooms. And the working hours were 15 hours in non-organized companies, and those were big factories. They had only 10 to 12 hours of working hours. So we will leave it today here. We will take the next part in the other lecture. Thank you. Study it yourself.